Okay, you're back with us in Republika. We're still talking to Saeed Daof of the Vice President for Mindanao, Philconsa, and Lieutenant General Raul Urgello of the AGFO. I cut you short a while ago. Please go ahead. You were saying?
What we were talking about is
Yes.
what?
Well, okay. I'll just ask you another question. What other ingredients or points would you have wanted included in the framework, which you think are vital?
Well, I've said two things already.
The renunciation of the MILF?
Renunciation of the MILF. I said another thing is that it's not actually an inclusion into the agreement, but the actuation of our government must be proactive. What I mean is, without shall I say, without prejudice to the interest of our government to integrate the MILF and its followers into the mainstream society and to achieve peace, we should not stop doing what we have to do in developing this region of conflict for one very important reason: to be proactive in accumulating or in achieving prosperity, progress, and security for the region, with or without any agreement. Because at that time when I'm writing this, we don't know whether they will agree to a peace agreement or not.
Okay.
Which I believe, though, that a peace agreement, no matter how volatile it is, it has many advantages to our country.
Okay. Two short questions. I will leave that with you, and then I'll go to General Urgello. First question. The MILF represents the Bangsamoro. Number two, some people are saying...
MNLF or MILF?
MILF. Number two, the question of whatever government structure you put up, whether it's a Bangsamoro political entity, whether it's ARMM, the problem is not really structural, but a question of the individuals that are usually put in government, because often one cannot account for the funds lost in the public money. I'll get back to you. Please think about that. Concerns. What are your concerns? Doubts, fears?
This is really product of the peace agreement. I believe is a product of the other forces, like the population pressure coming from all over the places. First is the population, the Filipino population in Sabah. I visited Sabah way back in 1993 or 94. I think there were around 400,000 Filipinos there, who were actually the main labor force for the state of Sabah. Now I believe there are more than 1 million Filipinos working in Sabah. And naturally, because of the population, the big population of Filipinos, mostly are Christians, maybe could overturn the political situation in Sabah. So the population also in Maguindanao and Cotabato has grown, and these places have become more prosperous than before. And people would rather engage in business, livelihood, agriculture. This is a very rich, it has a very rich potential, and it's starting to move. So there is really no real thought of having a secession or a rebellion, except for those groups who would like to stay in power.
The
So
leaders,
the leaders who would like to stay in power. So this is now the population pressure from both in Sabah and in Maguindanao. We have a very few problem maybe in Basilan and Sulu. Well, there are classes like in Albarca, but this is not a major confrontation which will overcome the entire island of Basilan. Or in Maguindanao, this is really mostly confined in the Talayan, Tambunan area. Although they would like to expand this, maybe an offshoot to the protest of the Ampatuan family. But basically, the population has grown, and I think they have become more prosperous. And very few people really would like to have peace because of that reason. And I think the MILF might look at this as an opportunity for them to be able to have a time to a breathing spell, or maybe survive being rather than being drowned in this area, because it is really an organization which has lost its fighting spirit, and it has no longer a spirit for fighting. So they would like to maximize what they have now at the moment, and maybe rinse out a sort of agreement from the government so that they can take advantage of the situation, and maybe be able to get some concessions so that they will be able to continue as an organization.
You know the ethnicities, the dynamics of the ethnic ethnicities, the contentions in southern Mindanao. Do you see a Nur Miswari ever sitting down with Hashim Salamat or Al-Haj Murad, and saying, okay, let's forget about this and let's work together on this Bangsamoro political entity? I mean, the government is optimistic that it's going to happen. They're pushing the OIC for it to happen. There are more dynamics to the ethnicity, to the religion here, to the... Do you see it happening?
Well, the separation of Muslim in Sema from Nur Miswari, which actually started the MNLF movement before. When I never expected that Muslimin will not remain loyal to Miswari. He had a difficult time trying to remain loyal to Miswari until finally maybe circumstances came in that he went on his own. So Muslimin now actually is the point man of Miswari in Maguindanao. Without him, he will have to deal with the M.I.L.F. directly.
Yes.
So, but Muslim in Sema, the former mayor of Cotabato City, was the Secretary General of the MNLF, and he was the main recruiter of the leadership of the MNLF, because of his position before as Secretary General of the Commission on National Integration. He had the opportunity to recruit give out scholarship grants to many young Muslim leaders, but some of them found their way to the training camps in Sabah. So it was actually in that side of the movement, it was Muslim in Sema, who was the trusted man of Miswari. Now, since they have separated ways, Miswari will have a difficult time in Maguindanao and the rest of the Cotabato provinces. So I don't see how he will be able to reconcile with the MILF. Aside from the fact that the MILF is also just one of the, we will say, a splinter group after Hashim Salamat.
So you mean to say the M.I.L.F. is further splintered down the line among themselves?
Yes, because it was Hashim Salamat who was the central figure of the MILF, and when he passed away, there is nobody who had the same stature as he had in the...
He was like a religious leader, no?
He was a religious leader. I think he studied in Cairo University for 8 years. I'm not sure, but that's what we gathered.
He's a PhD in economics.
But Haji Murad was, I think, only a third-year mechanical engineering student in the Notre Dame University when the rebellion broke out. And he has not, although maybe he had the chance to...
So there is truth to what Nur Miswari said, that some of the MILF have left. Could that be possible?
Well, I think they are playing lip service to the leadership of Murad. But the so-called Big Five before are not really in control of the MILF movement. They have 5 religious leaders whom they call the Big Five. But they are no longer, I think they are not in control of the movement.
Okay,
Well, wait,
yeah.
may I comment on this conversation of ours?
Yes, yes, please.
We are talking here of something
Mm-hmm.
that are not really established as facts.
Okay, okay,
And I don't want to be a party to that.
okay,
I'm honestly telling you.
okay,
What I'm saying is this.
okay.
Whatever it is, take for instance, in the case of Alhaj Murad.
Yes,
Okay, I really don't know him basically,
yes, yes,
although I have met him before.
yes, yes,
But the fact that even if he did not finish
Uh,
college,
yes, yes,
even if he did not finish any military training,
yes, yes,
even if he did not finish any governance
yes,
studies,
yes,
he stayed and he was able to make the government make the MILF big. It was the government who made them big. It was
Okay.
the media who made them big.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And to me, that is talent.
okay,
I don't know with the general, but as far as I'm concerned,
yeah,
this guy or these people, no matter how small they are not small in the view of the general public.
okay, yes.
And who made them that?
Government, media,
Government, of course.
yes.
Without because as I've said, if I were to negotiate
With
from the
them?
very beginning,
yes,
maybe I'm going to assign only a mayor
to them,
to them to speak, or maybe just a board member of
because
a
that
province.
is their level.
That is their level.
Okay,
Or maybe a barangay captain.
okay,
Yes,
not even a general,
not even a general.
because that is their level.
That is their level at the beginning.
We give them
But
too much.
who made them big?
We give them too much
A little,
importance.
yeah, not too much importance.
The government?
No. I
Oh.
have a different psychology.
Okay,
on
okay,
that.
please.
It is a matter of saying, let's say, when a president says something about an organization, this becomes a national issue. This becomes an international issue. We should have limited our talking about this matter at the very beginning, and it should be done.
Among ourselves.
Yeah, it should have been done in a different way, as far as I'm concerned.
Domestic.
Of course, hindsight is 2020.
Okay.
But as I have said, it was our government who made the MILF big.
Okay.
I must remember that.
Don't forget, you have two hanging questions. Let me just finish with General
okay.
Urgello.
All right. But but I don't blame the this is not something of a criticism.
Yeah,
I'm speaking of facts.
Okay.
These are things that are happening.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm looking at it objectively.
General Urgello, how do you see the development of Nur Miswari and Alex Noble joining together? Alexander Noble.
I don't see how it will prosper.
There is no. What is your reading? Because former Alex Noble was formerly with the military, and I don't know whether he's with the Mindanao Independence Movement. I don't know if my sources are correct. He took over the Mindanao Independence Movement, or he's with the Ruben Canoy. How do you see this?
I'm not very familiar with Alex Noble now, but
Okay.
before I was acquainted with Alex Noble.
He was in the Davao summit with Chairman.
Maybe that's possible, no? But he has also maybe he was trying to develop a following from the Lumads in Agusan. But these are not very big groups that maybe it could create trouble for a while if they would like to. But right now, I don't think they are really that hot on making. They are more interested in their own party list politics.
I see. Okay. Now very clear. Okay,
Yes.
on the hanging question,
Uh-huh.
should the MILF represent the Bangsamoro? Because this is what Nur Miswari has been also.
This is precisely
This
what
is-
our government is doing now.
This is what Ferdowsi Abbas has been complaining about.
Well, you see, the problem is this. How long has this been negotiation going on?
Okay.
15 years.
Okay.
Why is it that only now? Why are they complaining now? They should have started, they should have been proactive from the very beginning. Unfortunately, I was trying to be as noisy as I am. Nobody would like
You
to
were against them.
Against
Representing the Bangsamoro, the MILF.
No, as a matter of fact, remember, I made several
Yes.
I was invited by the Moro Islamic Liberation Front.
Yes.
Okay. And I explicitly informed them that I accepted your invitation, not as a Muslim, but as a peacemaker.
Okay.
All right? And therefore, these are my suggestions. Number one, I asked, how long has this war been going on? Chairman, Brother Salamat Hasim told me 25 years. That long, I said, have you established a direct line of communication with your enemy or with the office of the president? No. And I saw, what did I say? Your war is endless, if that's the case. Another thing, my suggestion is this. Another thing is about the, the negotiating table is really the road to peace. And when you are there, focus on what is today and tomorrow. Don't look anymore about because blame game syndrome and pointing fingers doesn't solve peace.
Yes, okay.
What is important right now is to tell what you really want.
Okay.
And what is this? You want to put at center stage socio-economic development and education of the people so that this will be your guiding line of both the government and the M.I.L.F. That is so. What I'm saying is about post-war development and reconstruction, and at the same time development of a culture of peace.
Okay. The idea that it's not really the kind of governance, whether it's ARMM or it's a political entity, call it by any other name. The problem has always been graft and corruption. So the ARMM as a structure did not actually fail, but that
There's nothing wrong with the charter.
You were,
management, governance, there's something wrong with governance. And this is what you should improve.
in fact, the last time you were here, you were saying they should have just stuck with the ARMM.
Correct.
And what you were saying was simply putting in the right people.
Yes, correct.
Or just amending the ARMM.
Yes, because you cannot go, in other words, what I was afraid of at the beginning is that this moral sub-state. Of course, I said that the nomenclature alone of a sub-state means that there was a change, there was pragmatism and flexibility on the part of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, because they changed their position from radicalism to moderation because of the nomenclature that they are subjugating themselves to the state, you see. But at the same time, there are many imponderables. We should talk on different levels of parameters and what would be the consequences to the national, to the security of the national government.
General Urgello, you have been assigned for a long time in Mindanao. You know the complexities, the personalities involved. It's not really so much of the structure of government, but there are clans, there are family allegiances, there are ridos, you have ethnicities involved. Graft and corruption is at the center, and even feudalism is at the center of all this. Would that be a correct way to encapsulate what is really going on in Mindanao? I mean, it's not really so much of the structure. It's actually about power. It's about money, who holds it, who wields it, which group.
Well, I raised that question with one of the leaders during the height of the fighting. I said, what do the Muslims want? And they said they wanted to have a system like what they did in Malaysia, where the Sultanate was preserved.
Okay.
But I said, well, I think it's too late for that. The Americans introduced a system of what they think is democracy, because they don't have any concept of having a royalty lording it over. So the Sultanate and the local leadership, which were actually doing the political control of the area, was replaced by an election system, which in that situation, in that place, cannot really work.
Okay.
Look what they did to Malaysia. They gave importance to except for Sabah and some other states,
to the Sultan.
to the sultans,
Okay.
so that he is the focal point of politics.
Yes.
Now, when especially the Sultanate of Sulu was in a way replaced by an elected official, who was replaced
So often.
every now and then,
Yeah.
and there was now a power, there was a struggle
Yeah.
to hold on to this power. It is still ongoing.
Uh-huh.
So I said it's really it's going to be very difficult
Uh-huh.
to have a system where people used to having an authoritarian authority running the place.
Okay.
And that is still ongoing now, because when I was there, the people there really look up to the Dato,
Okay.
look up to his leadership, give him the due respect. But after that, you have to go to the mayor,
Okay.
so that the mayorship, the governorship is now a sort of an agreement among the local datos who are not really elected politically, but are there because of by blood
Okay.
and inheritance. Yun ang tunay na dynasty siguro.
Okay. I think Lieutenant General Urgello came up with a very good point here. The dichotomy here, there must be some way we could marry both culture, history, and the political realities. And maybe, hopefully in the future, we are able to do that. We are still in the process, hopefully, of evolving some kind of a political system in Mindanao. And this will not be the end of it. One program will not answer all the questions. And we hope we will have future discussions, as we should, for a healthy republic and a healthy democracy.
I was about to say something.
Maraming salamat. Wala na tayo po.
No.
Next time. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much to both of you. And this has been Erik Espina. Palagi po nagsasabi sa inyo, magmasid, makialam, higit sa lahat po ay manindigan. Dahil wala pong magmamahal sa Pilipino kung hindi ang Pilipino. Daghang salamat, maayong gabi kaninyong tanan.